What's up YouTube, Day of Several Games, bringing you, as you can see before you, my updated Dark Magician Girl deck build. Now obviously it does contain Dark Magician because there's very few Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl builds you could do without him because of how many incremental spells and traps this guy brings to the deck. But as you can also see as well, this is a fusion build. We're not focusing solely on getting these guys out, but we are trying to make it as consistently as possible. So, without further ado, I am going to put these cards back into the order, and we are going to get on with this deck profile because I've thoroughly enjoyed playing with this deck. Obviously, thanks to the introduction of Apprentice Illusion Magician Girl, or Apprentice Illusion. I need to stop calling it Apprentice Illusion Magician Girl because, believe it or not, if it was actually called Apprentice Illusion Magician Girl, it would be busted as hell even more so than it already is. Anyway, so let's zoom in a little bit so you can see these cards clearer, and we'll start with the deck profile. So, we go with triple Dark Magician. Now, I have gone with all the movie arts with this one because we are doing the Magician Girl build. Triple of him, double Dark Magician Girl. Now 3 can get quite cloggy, 2 is just enough. It gives you that enough rotation around the cards that you need it. Now unfortunately the deck is really tight, so I haven't had the ability to fit in Magician of Black Chaos, or Dark Magician of Chaos, with Dedication through Light and Dark. Now, if you want to be going more fun build and definitely get him in there, you can do so. Do not get me wrong. I would love to have him in it. It's just so tight for space. Because with the Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl build, you focus a lot more on monsters, which then means that your draw cards are like Spellbook Knowledge are a little bit more active. So you play double Apprentice Illusion Magician Girl. Now, you can easily play to 3. There is no argument whatsoever. But because her effect as a hand trap or on a field is more for your dark spellcasters, it can't protect the other Dark Magician Girls or the like Chocolate Magician Girls and stuff like that, which is why Kiwi is played. If you take Kiwi out, you'd put Apprentice at 3, but Kiwi is actually more important than you might think, so you could even consider bumping Kiwi up to 2, and when we get to her I'll show you why. Next up, Triple Magician's Rod. This card is, you know, it's your A game. It searches you out pretty much everything you need. It will search you out not only your main Dark Magician spells and traps like your circles and navigation, but it can also search you out cards such as Sage Stone, and Sage Stone could be massively important if you have the ability to get into a Dark Magician Girl. Next up, Triple Chocolate Girl. Now this can be a +3, or technically, you know, the laws of ratio, but if you use her effect to pitch one of these that you don't need anymore, or you want in your graveyard for Eternal Soul, then draw into a card. Then if you have Spellbook of Knowledge in play, activate Spellbook of Knowledge, clear her off, draw 2 more. So you've +3 straight away, which is really cool. And with the ability of Dark Magic Circle, you can obviously get to stack your deck the way you want to stack it, and you get to foresee what you're going to draw into to see that it's worth dropping those cards down to draw into them, and how badly you want to be drawing into those cards. So she can be incredibly important in the deck. And massively helpful. So, moving on to the next one, we play 1 Kiwi Magician Girl. Now, the reason this card is really important is its second effect. So, during either player's turn, you can discard this card. Magician Girl monsters you control, currently control, gain 300 attack and defense for each Magician Girl monster with different names on the field and in the graveyard. That's okay until the end of this turn. It's the second effect that's really important. Spellcast type monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, and your opponent cannot target them with card effects. So, because it can't be destroyed by card effects in general, not your opponent's card effects, if Eternal Soul gets nuked on the board while she's there, they're not going anywhere. So, not only could you then stall out until you get into your Dragon Knight, she also helps protect you from the biggest downside of Eternal Soul. 1 Apple Magician Girl, 1 Lemon Magician Girl, and 1 Berry Magician Girl. Now this is purely because we're playing the Magician Girl builds. These aren't as important or as integral as they once were, but in this build they still obviously offer quite a lot. Apple lets you shuffle back some of your Magician Girls, Lemon lets you add, and then Berry also lets you add as well. So Lemon lets you add a spellcaster type monster from your deck to your hand by tributing, and then Berry, obviously, if this card is normal summoned, you get to add a Magician Girl monster from your deck to your hand. So she searches you out the rest of these pieces, and then obviously go on from there. Next up is one Magician of Dark Illusion, and then a card that I've tried to play it free, but there's just not enough space, and you use up so many normal summons, because obviously Choplin's a normal summon, and your Magician's Rod is a normal summon, but Legion the Fiend Jester. Now, I really, really like this card, and I rate him relatively highly, purely because he is a 1 card into a Dark Magician Girl. So if you open up with an Itemized, you can go into the Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. He can also help you if you open up with Sage Stone. It can also now get you Apprentice Illusion Magician out. Obviously, you can discard for the special summon, but he helps with that. He then searches you out Dark Magician, so he makes all your spells and traps alive as well. I think Legion of Fiend Jester is really, really cool and slightly underrated. But that's just in my personal opinion. To be totally honest, if you wanted to go, I don't like Legion, you can go like that, and the deck comes from a 42 card deck to a 40 card deck. I just feel Legion can actually offer quite a bit to the deck. Anyway, so that's it for the monster lineup. Straightforward on that. Now onto the spells. Triple Dark Magical Circle is still massively important. It is so important. Now, I did actually put together... someone suggested this to me like a while back, and I haven't really had a chance to properly look into it until now, but the true name. This can combo off massively well. So with Spirals coming up, this is a huge tip at the moment, with Spirals coming up, and some decks at this moment in time, they like to flood their board with more than 1 or 2 monsters. So sometimes Kaiju in isn't always going to be good enough. So, with the true name, obviously it's a little bit more long-winded because of the ability of Sleeper, but imagine you're going first, you activate Dark Magical Circle, you see the top 3 cards, you know what you've got a true name in hand. Activate true name, let's say it's an Itemized or whatever, you then get to add it to your hand, which is great as is already, just straight away, just an add. So you don't even need to add the Divine Beast in. But, let's say you're going second, or this is game 2, you've done all your silent, and you decide to side in Ra Sphere mode. True Name not only lets you add one of the cards you've seen off of Circle that you might really, really want to your hand, but because it doesn't have Dark Magician you can't do so, it will then also let you add that Divine Beast to hand. So if your opponent can't OTK you next turn, you're just going to, cool, draw my card, I'm going to Ra Sphere mode, dush, and have done all that, and then you can start activating your circles, your navigations, you can do any of your back row stuff to fill your board back up, and they're stuck with a Ra Sphere mode. If you then want to put in, obviously, Ras and stuff like that to get the additional effect off, that's kind of what you can do. But that is just a suggestion that was brought up to me, and I think it's a really, really good idea, especially with the upcoming meta as it is. And next up we play Double Pot Duality. Again, because of the search cards out, you've got a couple of normal summon cards that can stand on their own. You do quite a lot of special summon during your opponent's turn. The only one you do during your turn will be Apprentice Illusion. So at 2 it's kind of alright. Again, you can play it free if you want. 2 just kind of suits me as is. Triple Eye of Timaeus. Now again, it's really, really important because of not only do we have Dark Magician, the Dragon Girl, we've got Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, also Amulet Dragon, and Dark Paladin. So we've got 4 amazingly strong fusions. And through testing, I've actually seen the worst thing about Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, is he's more of a late game kind of card. He doesn't it's very hard to get into him first turn unless you're focusing on that build. So sometimes you find yourself going into Amulet Dragon. The next best thing about Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight, is because she's a level 7, you can use her to go, use her effect to send a card from hand to grave to pop a card, and then you can go into like a rank 7 and start going more from there. Next up we play the Spellbook Engine, Triple Secrets and Double Knowledge. Now you notice we didn't play Blue Boy, and the reason we didn't play Blue Boy is because we have so many normal summons that we don't really let leave the field. The consistency is there already, you don't need to get the Blue Boy to help give you that add and then the search. Yes, he can be very, very helpful, but like I said, the deck is so tight as is, it wasn't really the end of the world leaving him out. And then we play a lot of one-offs. We play the 1 Sage Stone, searchable off of Rod and Circle, and then if you've got a Dark Magician go on board as well, plus, so that's really, really good. 1 Dark Burning Magic. This is just your all-out, I'm clearing my opponent's board, because you destroy all your opponent's cards if you control a Dark Magician and a Dark Magician Girl, that their original names were that. Play the 1 Reasoning. You play level 4s, 7s, 3, I think you play levels 1 all the way up to level 7s. So if you play Democ, obviously you go up to 8. So Reasoning is really, really cool in this deck and can help out massively. Dark Magic Inheritance, you play quite a lot of spells, and then using the Spellbook Engine combo, straight away you've got your cards for Dark Magic Inheritance, which lets you not only deck thin a little bit more, but can also add you that 1 card that you're missing, like Circle or Navigation, anything like that. And then track lineup is quite straightforward and simple. Triple Navigation and double Eternal Soul. So that's it for the main deck. What I will quickly show you is just a couple of options that I've kind of looked into that I've wanted to kind of put into the deck, but the space just isn't there, so it's entirely up to you if you want to add these in. So Illusion Magic can actually be really, really helpful. Even though we've got Apprentice and Legion can search out Dark Magician, sometimes this is what you need to search for your rod. Dark Magic Expanded, again, really, really cool. More effective in this build because you've got Dark Magicians and Dark Magician Girls, so the effect can be more consistent. Dark Burning Attack, because we've got 2 Dark Magician Girls, we're not solely focused on her, so I wasn't all out, but this is kind of like your Regeki. So if you want to play this, you can play this instead of Regeki or in addition to Regeki, but like I said, the deck is so tight at this moment in time, I'm still tweaking the last few bits, but Dark Burning Attack is another one of your options. Obviously Demock, already gone over that one. Dark Renewal can be massively, massively helpful. I did want to try out one at the very least, just to see how it works. Now, it does work really, really well because of Apprentice Illusion, and like I said, we've always got spellcasters on board. The only issue with this card, and of course the next one I'm showing you is Magical Dimensions, is because with the Spellbook engine, we very rarely leave ourselves with a spellcaster on board until our next turn. Now, the best thing about both of these is because it's a spell, a quick play spell and a trap card, you kind of use it on your combos with Navigation and Eternal Soul and stuff like that. So that can actually help quite a lot as well. But it's just some options for you guys to test out and trial out and give a go. Okay, so now onto the extra deck. Very straightforward and simple on this one. We're going to go through all the fusions. So we've got the Dark Magician, the Dragon, Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. She, obviously, you send one card from your hand to the graveyard. So once per turn during either player's turn, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one face-up card on the field and destroy that target. So it's really, really cool. Amulet Dragon gets stronger by banishing spells, and then when it's destroyed, you special on the Dark Magician, so that's really, really cool. Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, protects your spells and traps can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects, which is really, really cool as well, and massively important, the new addition to the deck. And then Dark Paladin. Now, a lot of people get quite confused about this one. Eye of Timaeus, all you need to do is target a Dark Magician and use that as the fusion material. Eye of Timaeus then kind of replaces the other materials. So you don't need to worry about not having Buster Blader. Because you've got Dark Magician, and then obviously this one's Dark Magician Girl, all you need to do is go Eye of Timaeus, and it kind of acts as a poly and the other material as well, which is important to keep in mind. Then we go with the rank 7 lineup. Now we go with 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal. Now only 1 Ibon Illusion Magician, because it's not focused on the rank 7. So like we don't have Astrograph in here, we haven't got a second Magician of Dark Illusion. You don't need to play 2 of it because the chances are you're going to have so many different levels on the board. It's more about sustaining your main monster count than it is about going into your extra deck. Ibon High Magician and number 11 Big Eye. Our rank 6s, we've got number 39 Utopia Beyond and Naruto the Moral Leader. Again, really, really important because you can use him to rank up into Ibon Illusion. And then Phantom Knight of Breaksword. Now this is where it gets, it's down to you. We've got 4 level 3s and we've got 4 level 4s. So it's up to you if you want Breaksword, or you can play both. But as an alternative, this does not count in towards the 15 at this moment in time. You could play Perform Mage Trapeze Magician because it requires 2 level 4 spellcasters, which is what we play anyway. Our next ups are our links. So you've got the 1 Deco Talker, the 1 Proxy Dragon. You flood the board quite a bit with your monsters, so you can use it to get your link monsters out and kind of go through there. Link Spider, because it helps cycle around your Eternal Souls and Dark Magicians. And then finally, Gaia Saber the Lightning Shadow. Now, you don't have to play this guy. The only reason I choose to play this guy is, number 1, it's a bit of a nod to Yugi because he has Gaia, so if he had a link monster, this would definitely be in it. And secondly, because it only requires 2 or more monsters, it means you can use your Dark Magician for Gaia, whereas you can't use Dark Magician for Decode. So that's just something to keep in mind. But, like I said, you don't have to, this is all down to personal preference. Like, I love the fusion areas, you don't really need more than that, because you're very rarely going to go into any of these monsters more than once. Maybe this guy more than once, possibly, and that's purely if you've opened up with 2 Eye of Timaeus, because then you just go, you turn him, use Eye of Timaeus on him if you've got an Eternal Soul, bring out the second one, or one of these guys, and then use Eternal Soul to bring this guy back, and it helps you loop the hand as well. So it's really, really cool, and it helps out massively, massively. But what you've got to remember is it's so limited. Like I said, you could probably take out Proxy Dragon if you wanted to, or the Gaia Saber and go into a second one of him. It's down to you, entirely down to you how you want to tweak these. The only ones that are staples are the fusions that you're going to play and the count. I highly recommend Red Eyes Flare because it wins you the games. Ibon Illusion. Never have I ever gone into Ibon High. I don't know why I keep putting in Dark Magician deck. It just feels right to have him in there. Anyway, I've rabbled on long enough. So that is it for the Dark Magician Girl build. I keep calling it Dark Magician Girl build. It's actually the Dark Magician Girl build. So yeah, I hope this gives you some ideas. Hope this helps. It hopes you try something different with the Dark Magicians, because Dark Magician Girl can be just as fun, if not more so, than the Dark Magicians themselves. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and until next time, guys, as always, happy dueling. If you like that video, why not check out our other videos available? We've got more deck profiles, pack openings, and of course duels. And don't forget to click on the most important button of all, that subscribe button, right in the bottom left hand corner.